Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. Chance to be ruthless. They don't wanna see me make it, they don't wanna see me care. Anytime I make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up, cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Sports all plays. Yeah. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Hard sports all plays.
Welcome to Wrestle Zone on the All Sports All Plays Network. Coming on the air here live. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy just defeated Pac for the title on AEW. You got a big confetti going on here if you're watching AEW. And joining us tonight, we'll give you some actions here. It's at 10:01 right now. Orange Cassidy is in the show in frenzy. He actually won the title against Pac. Was a big, brutal battle. Pac tried to bring in the ring time thing to hit him with it, but the referee stopped it, and they talked Orange Cassidy out for doing the same thing. So Orange Cassidy goes there, wins there. That was a big win there for the Freshly Squeezed. He's 68-26 for his thing. So you gotta give Orange Cassidy his credit. He battled very well into this match. He battled greatly on this, so he went on ahead and got his stuff going. So we have the Wrestling Hour. This is a discussion roundtable type deal. We're going to go through some of the events that went on. WWE Extreme Rules. We're going to take care of that a little bit here tonight too. We're going to talk about some of the events in there. You had the Brawling Brutes versus the Imperio, the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match with Sheamus and his group. Certain things here. I get that match a little bit of an A- type matches, but it was a great match. It was a very physical match there. Also, as the Brutes made their entrance way, we saw the White Rabbit teaser played for a moment, but it was completely ignored by the announcers. As soon as the referee called for the bell, all 6 men paired up and began to fight, which I like those kind of things. I like when they allow all 6 men to get up there and battle each other and start going after each other and stuff like that. So that was very well. Dude, let's go ahead and bring this up here real quick. If you want to support us, you can just send us some stars. That will make us money to make more content on the All Sports All Plays Network, not just for this show, for everybody on the network. If you want to, bring money in for the different shows here, you can. The way you do it is you go on Facebook itself. You give us some stars. You put how many stars you want to give us. I think it starts at 99 cents for 5 stars, I think, all the way up to about $10-15 for 250 stars. You can go all the way up to about, I think the maximum you can go is 500 stars. I don't know exactly the price for that, but if you want to send us some stars, you go right ahead. You can send it to the All Sports All Plays Network. You can go right here on our. You can actually put it right here on the thing. And if you send us 200 stars, your comments will be pinned up during the shows for the shows that you send the stars for. So that's one way we can start earning money to make more content for y'all here on the All Sports All Plays Network. Let's continue right along with the WWE thing. Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. We know that this was going to be a test for Liv Morgan to go ahead and try to defeat Ronda Rousey for the third time here. But if you look at it here, this match was physical. It was a match. I think Liv Morgan held her own in this match with Ronda Rousey, but Rousey went on ahead and took the victory. Rousey wins the SmackDown title by submission, made her submit. I think it was a good run. I think WWE, allowed. I have to give applause to WWE. They allowed Liv Morgan run with the title for a little while. She wasn't going to be to hold the title for a whole year or 8 and 10 months and stuff like that. But they gave her a good run. I think that was a good showing there. I think she showed that she can handle the being the champion and stuff like that. So I think that was very notable of WWE letting Liv Morgan run it. I don't know now what's up next for Liv Morgan. Is she be back in the title running? She does have a champion rematch So we'll see how that goes. Do we see Charlotte Flair return here soon? That's going to be another key there when Charlotte Flair says she's going to return. So that's going to be the good if she's just waiting to her contract to be run out. If she's waiting for her contract to be run out, then, we might not see her back on TV. So that's another thing that we need to see with WWE and how they run with Charlotte Flair's thing. Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre had met for a strap, but Kross did not want to allow the strap to be tied to his wrist. He attacked the Scottishman Warrior before the bell fight, and Karrion Kross won that match. I'm not too shut up on Karrion Kross right now. He's too much of a lackluster for all the big hype that they brought him in for. I think he's not living up to his billing right now. I think they need to look at his angle a little bit more. Drew McIntyre, I think Drew McIntyre was shifted in some of his thing for the WWE title. I'd like to see him get more involved back into the WWE title realm. I think he's too good of a person to be just left out of this thing. And I got some interesting tidbits I want to find, talk to you about. If you want to go ahead and join and interact with this show, go ahead. If you're on YouTube, you can go to All Sports All Place YouTube. I'll send that right here. If you follow us right here, you can go to YouTube. You can look up All Sports All Place or ASAP Network. It'll bring you up there. You can see us every Wednesday here at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We usually have more people on the show. I think they're all, they all got other things doing right now. We got one in school, in class and stuff out in the West Coast. There's time difference between us and there, and his school time. It kind of conflicts with the show. We have a couple other people going out for jobs and stuff like that. So we need to figure, that's another thing that we're looking at too. But, right now, I can handle a show by myself. I've done a lot of shows by myself. So these guys give them a break a little bit here. Let's talk about Bianca Belair and Bayley. The ladder match for the women's champion. Bayley and Bianca Belair were up. I think the match was good to a certain point. I think the lackluster of a predictable Sky and Kai interfere and trip to stop Belair from reaching the belt, but the EST for women hit both of them with a KOD at the same time, and an impressive display of power. It was awkward to set up, but the payoff was worth it. I think Bianca Belair showed that she is a strong female. I think she can handle her own. I think her program with Bayley is good. I think they needed. To me, I think they need to stop putting Bayley with stables. I mean, let Bayley do it on her own. Bayley can hold her own by herself. She doesn't need Sky and Cody Dekai, and I don't think she needs all those. I don't know why they love putting her with a stable, but I think Bayley can hold her own by herself. I like her little skit. Ding dong thing. I think they need to bring that back a little bit, have her do some skits and stuff. I think she's more corporate by herself than she is. But I know they're trying to still make her a heel. I still like Bayley as a good guy. I think she portrays that a little bit better than she does with the heel side of the thing. So I think in the near future they should try to work her getting back into the good side and stuff like that. So Edge and Finn Balor's I Quit match, that was good. It was all there as Ripley was winding up for the swing. Edge says I quit to save her and gave Balor the win while Edge was still being held back. Ripley hit the Glamazon with the chair. Anyway, I don't know, bringing her wife and Edge involved in this, I don't know. I would have liked, to me, instead of bringing the good, back with AJ and stuff with Judgment Day, I think AJ should have came out and helped Edge, and then bring Anderson and in and be a little bit more of a focal point in this match here. Could have got help Edge out. I don't know using his wife in this matter. I just don't get it. Unless Edge is not thinking about coming back after this. This was his last match. So I like to see what's going to go on between Edge and this Judgment Day. It's just Edge is just going to walk away now. He's got a few matches in. He's got what he needed to do. To get back a little bit to see if his neck was there. His neck was there a little bit, but I think he's getting upper echelon. What's going to be next for Edge? We got to figure that out here in the next couple of weeks. Finn Balor and the Judgment Day. You got two heel staples. You got Judgment Day and you got the Bloodline. When is the good guys going to start getting a stable? Is AJ bringing back his Bullet Club or his OCs with Gallo and Anderson from Monday Night Raw? We'll get to that here momentarily too, and stuff like that. So I think the best match of the whole card myself, best match of the whole card myself is Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins. I think that match with them was excellent. I think it was portrayed very well. I think Rollins did what he needed to do. I think Riddle is getting over. Riddle, his attitude is very unorthodox, if you want to say, as the bros give, but he fits that to a T. He fits his angle to a T, and then I think Rollins playing in with him. I think Riddle winning the match is showing that WWE and Triple H is getting comfortable with Matt Riddle. I think really helped Matt Riddle out was with Randy Orton for the few months there where he was with Randy Orton. So I think that was a very sellable note there. I think that was very I think it was very awesome way they did this. I think Rollins plays a lot, helping out younger talent too, trying to make people over with his gimmick. You got to give Rollins credit here. I mean, it was an A+. It was an A match, and I loved it. I watched the whole thing. I went back and watched it again today. So I mean, I liked the way they portrayed them, and I liked the way they ran the show. But you know, and I like the And then the tail end at it, when it was over, they had all the characters they had live characters, not just the puppets, but the live characters of the Fiend in the Funhouse. I think that was very that was after the show. They threw the White Rabbit thing. I like the way they planned it. I like the way they doing, but I didn't like the way they waited till the show was over and they brought Wyatt out anyway. He was in the with the rabbit out thing, but I mean they brought him out to give him applause and stuff like that. But they really bring him onto the show itself when the show went off. But and then let's see. Here, the Tacoma Riddle set up the cage, blah, blah, blah. Then at the end here, we began seeing spotlight show people in the crowd dressed as the characters from the Fire Funhouse. A video play showing the corporate set from the character show, and that door appeared on the stage and burst open to reveal a masked man holding a lantern. The figure removed the mask to reveal himself as Bray Wyatt. To the biggest pops of the night, he blew out the lantern and his new logo appeared to end the show. This was a fantastic reveal and intriguing way to end the show. I agree with to a point, but I like to see more advance into this realm of the WWE storyline. I think it was very smooth. I think that was very a villain the way they did it. I think that was awesome. And I think that's what we needed to say and stuff. So, I think that was very awesome. I think it was a very awesome way to do it and stuff like that. So, we'll see how that plays out here and stuff. I want to take a little bit of moment here and to do some stuff here for the WWE. I think ever since Triple H has come back, he has come back in very, 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 very very awesome the way that it played. The scenarios are playing out with Triple H. I like the way he's setting these things up. He's trying to bring WWE back to a promise to where it's more the wrestlers intervening with their storylines and getting some of these plays. I mean, I think Rollins and Riddle went to both with Triple H, and he went to find it awesome and stuff like that. So I think that was very unique. I think it was very awesome. I think it was a very way. I think it was the artistic. I think this is a lot of a way to put these two together and made these and this thing. I think this is the final match between Riddle and Rollins, or is it? Or since they did some other stuff on Monday Night Raw, when we get to that, we're going to bring that up here in a minute on this thing. So it's a lot of stuff that you think about here. The bloodline handles some business on the SmackDown thing. So I mean, you got to really, 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 really think about that too. So what they're doing on Monday Night Raw and getting everything settled line for that. Like I said, the way they are portraying some of these, I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this. Are they bringing Wyatt back as a good stable to go up against a bloodline? That's going to be the question. How are they going to use Wyatt, and if he's going to bring his stable back, if he's going to bring his family back? Minus with with Brody Lee, who went over to AEW and passed away, the late Brody Lee, rest in peace. Who would they add to that stable? Would they put Braun Strowman back with Wyatt? I mean, it's a lot of issues, a lot of stuff that could come around with this stuff too, and how they gonna react with this one for the Monday Night Raw thing. We saw the U.S. title really change hands, and this in this scenario. How does this stack up to everything? How does this really stack up? They're gonna put them. Is he gonna have an alter ego? Is Bray Wyatt gonna have an alter ego and bringing back the Fiend with him? When Wyatt gets in trouble, Fiend shows up and helps him out. How they gonna portray? Is he gonna have a double or triple ego? Is Wyatt gonna be the Wyatt family of old, using the Funhouse now as a little bit of a mischief thing for the area, if you want to really, really look at of this here. So, I mean, it's a lot of things you got to really look at in these scenarios. How they going to do this? How they going to portray? This here. Just bringing up some notes real quick here. My computer's kind of acting up with my notes. I had some notes written down, and I just want to see how this is going to reflect everything here. I mean, you had Johnny Gargano versus Austin Theory. That match was pretty good. Some people are rating it like a B match, but I think it was more than a B match. I think I don't know exactly what they're going to do with Austin Theory. I mean, he was playing the Mr. McMahon's right hand boy toy, really, if you really want to look at it. Are they just making him be in a sideshow? I mean, he really doesn't bring a character into this. I mean, he looks like a reject John Cena when John Cena was coming up. I mean, he's got some of John Cena's attributes and some of Tyler Breeze's attributes with the phone. I mean, how does that really gonna be? That situation is gonna be how that's gonna tell everything else. Sorry, my ear is kind of itching there. So I don't know. I mean, how's that gonna work? How's that gonna thing, is Gargano going to put are they going to have a match where they're going to put the Money in the Bank, his Money in the Bank, where his mouth is, and then Gargano gets the Money in the Bank? I think that makes more sense because Austin Theory doesn't do it for me in a title run, and having him have the Money in the Bank thing. I think he's trying to set up. I think it could be setting up that direction, and that direction of that storyline where Gargano is going to go after Theory and say, "Hey, now I beat you, and you want a rematch? You put your contract." And we'll wrestle for it, and then have Gargano beat him, and him be Money in the Bank. I think that makes more sense because I think Johnny Gargano, he's over more than Austin Theory right now. Austin Theory's character is not right plumb there. So I mean, that's a lot of tidbits here to figure out how they're doing this and how this momentum is going. Like I said, they had Chad Gable versus Rey Mysterio. Chad Gable had an injury 7 days last, Monday night facing Braun Strowman. Now he's got Rey Mysterio, winner Rey Mysterio. I rated that match like a B plus. Dominique attacked him from behind and hit the 619 while Ripley held him in place. I don't get I understand they put him with the Judgment Day, but still are just leading up. Is this going to be Rey's farewell? That's going to be the question for this scenario with Rey Mysterio and his son. Is he going to let his son put him out of wrestling for good? I know Rey's getting up in age. Rey's been doing this for a long time. He's been doing it since he was 16 years old. And so, I mean, he's been doing it for a great long time and at a high level. And now I think he's time for him to run into the sunset. So is Dominique going to be the one to retire him? Is that just setting that up for that? That could be the point of this storyline, setting it up to where Rey Mysterio is now going to be put out of wrestling for good, and he's just going to go out and run off to the sunset and retire. So that's another thing you can see. You can see Luca from Young Rock was shown sitting in the audience. I mean, the sunset flip Mysterio used to set Gable into the barricade was executed perfectly. Ripley was wearing what looks like a memorial armband that says Beth Phoenix's name. It was a savage move after what she did at Extreme Rules. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of things you can see here and stuff like that. I think the Judgment Day promo, AJ Styles come out. I think the way AJ presented that was very awesome. Coming up and hugging Finn Balor and saying it wasn't him. It was the OC. OC came back. I think Gallows and Anderson brings a little bit of help with AJ Styles and a little bit of a stable there, a good stable part. So I think there's a lot of so I mean that's a lot of attributes and stuff like that. So I mean that's very good part of Judgment Day and the way they got at, and then the way they set that up and stuff like that. And then you had Bayley and Candice LeRae come out with the role model was looking to regain some momentum following her loss to Bianca Belair on Saturday, but LaRue was looking to continue her winning ways since she returned a few weeks ago. The winner, Candice LeRae, won between LaRue and Bayley. This was preparing WWE should make sure to resist for a bigger encounter. That could be a thing. I think Candice LeRae could be on the verge of being a big push, a big star in WWE. I think she has the charisma, she has the talent, she has the savvy. I think she handled her own with Bayley, so I think that's a very thing. I think we're going to see that a little bit enhanced a little bit more, and I would like to see her, replace, because Asuka would. I think they're using Asuka as an entry into that group with Alexa Bliss. So Candice LeRae could be a good add to that mix with Bianca Belair and go up against the kill, or whatever they call them. The DOK or KOD, whatever. The Miz birthday almost squashed the match. Miz birthday celebration was up next. The ring was decked out in decoration, blah, blah, blah. We already got that. Dexter Lumen would play the head, but when the Miz hit it with the bat, it disappeared. I think this Loomis angle, that is awesome. I think that is cool way they're doing that. I think they kidnapping Miz about a month ago, and then having him enter his house while they were gone and being in different places and getting Miz all thing. I think this is a work of genius. I like this part. It's a different view, a different vibe you want to know about WWE. It's a really different, a different attitude, a different secure of that. I think that's very well planned, organized. Even Maurice ran away, leaving Loomis to pop up the giant yoga ball. I mean, I think this is awesome. I think The Miz is playing his part very well. I think Maurice is playing her part very well. I think Loomis is playing his part hands out. I think his place was awesome. I just think it's just the creative ways that WWE is using Loomis, and the way Loomis can make himself look eerie, kind of just stare at, make him look stiff, make him look like a mannequin type deal. Sometimes you don't even really notice he's there when they break him away, and then you have to take a look and he's gone. I think the way they're portraying, the way the camera angles, the way Triple H wanted this thing to happen, I think it's happened very good. I think that's the way that you wanted to think about the ways that it is, the way that it manifolds itself, the way that it's trickling to where this thing is going to come to a head soon, where him and Miz in the ring. But I like the way they keep this mischief. I think it's very eerie. That look he's got, man, that Loomis's look is just it make you want to fringe, make you want to scare you out a little bit here. So I mean, that's something that you got to give him. You got to give Loomis a thing. Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins. Brock Lesnar shows up. We knew Brock Lesnar was about time for him to show up somewhere. This time he showed up and helped the visionary Seth Rollins get the U.S. title. So now Seth Rollins is carrying the U.S. title around. I don't know if I think that match with Rollins and Matt Riddle, I think that set that up very well. I think that it was a good end. The final match of the night on Raw was the Bro take on the honorary Usos. The Usos were by Zayn's side, but only Jimmy seemed to want to encourage him. Riddle took control almost immediately and put Zayn on defense. The Usos watched as Zayn was able to make a comeback, and Jay even helped by hitting Riddle with a kick while the referee was distracted. Zayn actually told him he did not need his help. The competitive fight until Jay tried to interfere again. Zayn stopped him, and it allowed Riddle to take over. And the longer we know, Matt Riddle won. To me, I think this is intriguing with Sami Zayn and the bloodline. I think Sami Zayn is very creative. He's a very remarkable. He's a very innovator. He can change his stories. He can change his looks. He can change his thing. We know he went from the Balloon kick, beloved, with the crowd going, doing the chants like you see in soccer games, to being what you want to call conspiracy theories. He did that for a while. Now he's changed to honorary Us. I think gives the bloodline a little bit of more of a fresh comedian thing. But if you watched it, I think it was 2 or 3 Monday night, about 2 to 3 episodes of Monday Night Raw when Sami Zayn and interact with Kevin Owens, and if you watch when the Usos and them combated themselves with them, you've seen the smirk. You've seen the smirk at Sami Zayn. Now, when you want to beat a faction, and if you want to beat them, you don't want to beat them straight out. You want to have that plan inside that faction. And I think that Sami Zayn, because we've seen the smirk on Sami Zayn's face a few times when the Usos and them leave, he shows the smirk. I wonder if Triple H is coming up with a evolve of Sami Zayn being infiltrated into the bloodline itself, to where he's going to defeat the bloodline and then have Kevin Owens and them take the titles off of the Usos without anybody knowing. Only why I caught that is because I knew what tendencies I need to watch on when I watch these shows, because these shows are going back towards the 80s and the 80s wrestling and stuff like that, where they had people infiltrate the groups and then all of a sudden dismantle the groups from the inside to the outside instead of from the outside to the inside. So, I mean, that way, I think this is very well. I think this is a very orchestrated plan. I think this is a very meticulous plan. I think this is a very awesome way to do it, a devious way to do it. But I think there's a very, very creative way to put this. If that's the role they are actually going to go with, and how they're going to dismantle this. Because I think the titles, I think eventually we got to have ununified titles. I don't like the unified titles because right now you're only having them on SmackDown. If the tribal chief is making a ram into Raw, then they'll bring him on there. But Raw doesn't have the U.S. title. They don't have true championships like a world title somebody convenes and go up against. So I think they need to ununify these titles and put the Universe title back on Raw, put the Raw tag team back on Raw, have them have a title if that's the way they're going to do it, or how they're going to interact the championship a little bit more with the Raw people, because right now you're having it all with the tribal chief and thing and stuff like that. It's not very convincing. It's not very propelling for television. So that's a little bit of things right there. From Monday Night Raw, it was all right. I think Triple H is getting there, but it's not quite to where it used to be. I think that's another thing that we need to look into there for that. I'm going to touch some little bases on some of these things from AEW now. Jericho versus Danielson. The third, former ROH World Champion Bryan Danielson takes on the current Ring of Honor Champion, World Champion Ocho Chris Jericho right now. That was live. Jericho won with a help outside the help with Gracie. Came out and helped him win to retain the title. I don't think Jericho needs help, but Jericho Appreciation Society, his new stable, it's not really a foretaking stable, but I can see what they're saying and what they're doing with it, and then having these people come and help them win matches and stuff like that. But I just don't think that I see that as a very, very, very onslaught way of thinking. The Acclaim has arrived. So via AEW, Shawn Spears has returned, and it looks like the Pinnacle is back. FTR and Dex, FTR and Cash Wheeler, FTR. They're back. So, I mean, the Pinnacle is back, so I don't know if they can run Pinnacle as a good fashion in the AEW, or they're going to turn them back, put them back a heel. The diving knee drop right now on the way as Real Billy Gunn by Swerve. Confidence Watch AEW, that's coming up. Big Daddy Ass and Billy Gunn and the Acclaim has arrived. Spears, like I said, the Pinnacle could be coming back here. It was good to see the Great Muta helping out Sting. That was very interesting. Surprised to bring the Great Muta come back and help Sting. But, Sting and the Great Muta had matches back in the 80s that were awesome in WCW and NWA type deal. They battle each other. Now it's good to see them to be on the same side and the older career, helping them out. So you gotta give them some unique and some punches there. I think some of the shows tonight was very animated. I kind of like you got Swerve Strickland, Jungle Boy puts the Luchadors through the table. I think that was kind of awesome seeing him putting his boy through the table. Jungle Boy can handle his own. As a small feature of a wrestler and stuff like that, I think the Jungle Boy handles his own very well. I think he took Luchasaurus down and put him through the table. Excellent move there to show the little bit of a strength that he has and a little bit of charisma. I think the angle with him and Christian is very portrayed very well. I think I like the way they're portraying that and using Luchasaurus turned on him now, helping out Christian. I think that was very kind of a wise, gaugey move. It didn't backfire on him. I thought it worked very well. I think Cage is using him as a setup man to try to take out Jungle Boy. So that's another few things there. So overall, I like that Warlord. Wardlow's getting to work the factory here on the Dynamite. Britney Spears, DMD, her team lost with Toni Storm, and in the way they're portraying that, I think that's an awesome way to look too. The factory, QT Marshall is he's going to be I think he's very integral on the mic. I think he's starting to come into his own a little bit too. So, how they're going to book Omega when he returns? That's going to be a question. Is Young Buck returning to AEW, or is Young Buck going to decide, hey, they want to go back to WWE? I really don't like the Young Bucks. I think they're the rejects of the Hardy Boys. I think they need to get completely new gimmicks and stop taking the Hardy Boys ways of thinking and the way they're moving things. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. I like the way they did with Orange Cassidy and Pac. That match was excellent, very good, very high entertaining, with Orange Cassidy taking the title away from Pac. I think that was good on tonight's AEW Dynamite. I think it was awesome the way they portrayed that, the way Pac used Orange Cassidy's kicks. Freshly Squeezed did win tonight, and he got a title. I think he's due for a title run. I think this is kind of awesome to see how he does as a title holder. Renee Paquette is all elite. She shows up. So I mean, she was going to show up sooner or later. But I mean, I think the way they brought her out was pretty good. So I think this is awesome. I think AEW is trying to get WWE running for the money. WWE is now trying to stabilize themselves back up with Triple H. I give credit for Triple H taking over this. WWE was in the shams with Vince McMahon. When Vince McMahon got out, I give you true, very good updates with that. Though I think the shows are starting to come back around. They're not there to my liking yet, but it's getting close. They're getting close back to where they can compete by themselves, and probably put AEW back in a little bit of a dismanner. I think AEW missed out when they didn't get Bray Wyatt. I think Vince McMahon left at the right time because Bray Wyatt was in the limo. I think they were getting close to getting them in AEW, but when Triple H took over, I think Triple H beat them to the punch. So I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. You got to give Vince McMahon, you got to give him credit for the 80s and the runs he has, but his older age got in the way. I think he got in the way as stuff. He was more of a Jerry Jones type deal. I think Triple H is more hands-on with the talent because he was a talent. He was there through the good and bad. The DX 25th anniversary was okay. It was not like DS-ness. And then, the touching thing at the end with the cameras went off with Triple H and Shawn Michaels hugging at the end. You didn't see it on camera, but, people caught it on their cell phones. That's a good thing about having cell phones now. When shows go off and they have stuff like this, people put it on their YouTubes and you can actually go find it. If you want to see that, I think that was very touching what Triple H said to Shawn Michaels. And I think that shows that Shawn Michaels had a brilliant career. He was the showstopper. He was Mr. WrestleMania. He was like stuff. So Let's see what Damien here. Damien is chiming in here. What's your thought on the WWE thinking about possibly changing things, work with the New Japan Wrestling? I think it'd be kind of cool. I think interaction with some of these organizations that are, like New Japan, like what AEW is doing with Ring of Honor. I think it's kind of cool. I think it gets exposure for both companies, showing that they can work with other people. It's a little bit different because, way I looked at wrestling, I was brought up where they had territories. The South had NWA. WWE was mostly up north. AEW was in the Midwest, out of the Midwest, California type there. You had WCW, World Class Championship Wrestling, with the Von Erichs in Texas. That was a Texas territory. And then they started interacting with some of the NWA with Kerry Von Erich's situation with WCCW, which it was World Class Championship Wrestling. That came on series from in the Sportatorium down in Dallas, Texas, the famous Sportatorium, which is now is gone. So I mean, the way that territory started going down, then Vince McMahon came in and took over some of the territories and started interacting with some of the territories back then. And then AEW folded and WCW became, and then they got taken out at the end, with Vince McMahon buying them out, or with Shane McMahon buying them out, and then Vince beating Shane for it. And so, I mean, the territories, there's no more territories like that. So I think it's good to see these organizations, because wrestling, it's a lot of ways you could do it. There's a lot of venues that you could be played, and there's room for smaller organizations, smaller than WCW, smaller than AEW. New Japan is big over in New Japan. There's more territory for WWE to get into New Japan area. I think that's going to look at it very callous. I think the way they brought the Great Muta in AEW with Sting, helping Sting out, I think that was great also. I like the Ring of Honor stuff moving in, because now Ring of Honor is, we knew what Ring of Honor was, but now they're getting a little bit more exposure with the championship now on AEW, which is on a national telecast. So, I like to see more. I like to see more of the interaction between organizations and stuff like that. Now, WWE could do it to where it'd be leading up to where New Japan versus WWE wrestlers in a Survivor Series match. You got Survivor Series coming up here next month, so that could be a good way to sell New Japan, have them come over like what they did with NXT and coming in and infiltrating SmackDown and Raw. Like New Japan could do the same way and have it climax at Survivor Series. So, I mean, to answer your question, I think it's very good. I think it's very creative. I think it's the right time to do this, because you're getting it fresh. You're freshening you're freshening it up a little bit, because if you just have the same wrestlers and you change the storylines and different wrestlers, it starts getting a little stale. So when you have New Japan come in, you got new wrestlers, new fresh storylines you can build with the interaction, to not have the same old stale, Survivor Series. They'll have some bragging rights between New Japan and WWE. So I think that's a smart move. I think it's very creative move to do it. I think it can help you in the creative way, in the way the organization has panned out and stuff like that. So I think it's very well. I think it's very good. I think it's the way to do this. I think it's the way they need to do it. I think the way you look at it, I think it's very, great time. I mean, this great time. Wrestling could be back on the rise again. What we talked about earlier, we talked about peaks and valleys. Back last year, when we talking about wrestlers we're talking about peaks and valleys of professional wrestling. It was down a little bit. The 80s came, it started rising up a little bit, and it got down a little bit more. Then the 90s pulled up, boom, they spiked again with the Attitude Era. Then we spiked down a little bit, and it's been in the spikes a little bit over. Then we had another organization open up in the AEW. You got to give credit to Tony Khan. to do the concept, and him and Cody Rhodes, who started it with Chris Jericho, and then stuff like that. And then you get WWE, who's been down for a while with Vince McMahon doing his stuff, trying to control every aspect of the business, doing his way. Now that scandal came out that forced him out. I think it was a good way to force him out. I think it's a good way to get the organization, get WWE back into the working realm of helping wrestlers out. I think Triple H has got this going very well in the right direction. I think it's going to take a few more years. Maybe we'll interjecting with New Japan into this, or some more wrestling organization injected into it. I think Triple H could get this ship rolling here. And we'll finish up with this real quick here. Hopefully next week all my people will be back. We can have a more formal discussion. I hope I had a good show today for everybody who listened. I think everybody should had a good week. If you watch AEW Rampage, you got to give Orange Cassidy his due. Him and Pac did a very good show tonight, a good match. I give that an A+ on that one for AEW. I think there's a lot of stuff going around. I think they need to work on a little bit more. I think they should have gave Lazario a little bit more run with the ROH instead of giving it back to a well-known Chris Jericho as champion. But that's one championship that was eluding Jericho in his career, so they put it on him. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I like to see Lazario, or whatever his name is in AEW. I just always call him Lazario. I think they should put the title back on him, have him beat Chris Jericho, and put the title back on him and have another title run. Until next week, we are back here on the All Sports All Played Wrestling Hour every Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. I am Ray. People will be back. Hopefully, be back next week. Until then, peace out, brothers. Go WWE, AEW, doing your job. New Japan's coming into connection with the WWE, and to give it all out to the thing. Be the man. You got to beat the man. Woo!
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.